You won't believe this. Just 3 changes to what's on your plate could cut your stroke risk dramatically. Not 10, not 5, just 3. And they're simpler than you think. Every year, nearly 800,000 Americans have a stroke, and many never saw it coming. But what if the key to prevention wasn't in a pill bottle, but right in your kitchen? I'm Dr. Jonathan Myers, and for over 30 years, I've helped thousands of patients lower their stroke risk through lifestyle changes that actually work. In this video, I'll walk you through 3 evidence-backed diet changes that could literally save your life. Stick with me, because your next meal could be the most important decision you make today. Let's get started. Let's start with the first and most urgent change: cutting ultra-processed foods from your daily diet. Now, when I say ultra-processed, I'm not just talking about the occasional snack or frozen dinner. I'm talking about the heavily manufactured, long shelf-life products that dominate the middle aisles of every supermarket. These include packaged snacks, sugary breakfast cereals, instant noodles, processed meats like hot dogs, and deli slices soda, and many ready-to-eat meals. Why are these foods so dangerous? Because they're loaded with the 3 things that your brain and heart absolutely do not need: excess sodium, added sugars, and inflammatory fats. These ingredients work together like a silent storm, raising your blood pressure, hardening your arteries, and promoting inflammation throughout your blood vessels. That's a recipe for a stroke. In fact, a major study published in the BMJ followed over 100,000 adults and found that for every 10% increase in the amount of ultra-processed food in someone's diet, their risk of stroke went up significantly. The correlation is crystal clear. The more ultra-processed food you eat, the higher your risk. And here's the scary part. Many of these foods don't even taste salty or fatty, but they're still loaded with harmful ingredients. That healthy energy bar, it may have more added sugar than a candy bar. That low-fat frozen dinner, it's likely packed with sodium to compensate for flavor. Let me give you a real-world example. One of my patients, Rick, 65 years old, was eating what he thought was a heart-friendly diet. He avoided fried food and desserts, but ate a lot of frozen healthy meals, granola bars, and diet sodas. When we took a closer look, we realized most of his diet was still ultra-processed. Once he started cooking simple whole meals like oatmeal for breakfast, fresh grilled chicken salads for lunch, and roasted vegetables with wild rice for dinner, his blood pressure dropped, his energy came back, and he cut his stroke risk dramatically. So what can you do right now? Here's your action plan. 1. Read food labels carefully. If it contains more than 5 ingredients, especially words you can't pronounce, it's likely ultra-processed. 2. Shop the outer ring of the grocery store. That's where you'll find fresh produce, lean proteins, dairy, and whole grains. 3. Cook at home when possible. Even simple meals like a veggie omelet or lentil soup are far healthier than a boxed dinner. 4. Avoid hidden traps. Low-fat, low-carb, or sugar-free labels can be misleading. Always check the ingredient list. The bottom line: ultra-processed foods are not just empty calories, they're actively harmful to your brain and arteries. Cutting them out isn't about being perfect. It's about making better choices, one meal at a time. And even small changes like swapping your morning sugary cereal for oatmeal with blueberries can have a huge impact. Now that you know what to cut out, let's talk about what to add in. Up next, healthy fats that heal instead of harm. Now that we've cleared out the worst offenders' ultra-processed foods, it's time to talk about what your body does need, especially your brain and blood vessels. That brings us to diet change. Number 2, add more healthy fats. Yes, you heard that right. Fat is not the enemy. In fact, certain types of fat are essential for brain function, heart health, and stroke prevention. The key is knowing which fats to eat and how much. Let's start with omega-3 fatty acids. These are powerful anti-inflammatory fats that help keep your arteries flexible and reduce clotting. They're found in fatty fish like wild-caught salmon sardines and mackerel, as well as in chia seeds, flax seeds, and walnuts. Research shows that people who consume omega-3 rich foods several times per week have a significantly lower risk of ischemic stroke, the most common type. Why does this happen? Because omega-3s reduce triglycerides, lower blood pressure, and protect the lining of your blood vessels. They also help prevent the formation of dangerous plaques that can break off and trigger a stroke. Another brain-friendly fat source is extra virgin olive oil. It's rich in monounsaturated fats, which not only lower bad LDL cholesterol, but also raise good HDL cholesterol. In fact, the PREDIMED study, which looked at over 7,000 people at risk of cardiovascular disease, found that those who followed a Mediterranean-style diet rich in olive oil had a 30% lower risk of stroke. And don't forget about avocados. They're not just trendy, they're terrific for your brain. They're full of potassium fiber and heart-healthy fats, making them one of the best whole foods you can eat to support circulation. But here's the catch you have to replace bad fats with good ones. That means cutting back on trans fats and refined vegetable oils found in margarine, deep-fried foods, and many baked goods. These fats trigger inflammation, raise your blood pressure, and damage your arteries over time. Let me tell you about one of my patients, Gloria, 71 years old. She had borderline high cholesterol and a family history of stroke. She loved butter and bacon, but didn't want to give up flavor. So we worked together to swap butter for olive oil, processed snacks for a handful of almonds or walnuts, and greasy breakfasts for avocado toast with whole grain bread. Not only did her blood pressure drop, but her brain fog lifted too. She told me, "I feel sharper now than I did 10 years ago." So how can you bring more healthy fats into your day? Here are a few easy strategies. Drizzle olive oil over salads and vegetables instead of using bottled dressings. Add a tablespoon of flax seeds or chia seeds to your morning smoothie or oatmeal. Snack on a small handful of raw unsalted nuts instead of chips or crackers. Eat fatty fish like salmon or sardines at least twice a week. Use avocado slices on sandwiches or mash it as a spread instead of mayo. Remember, your brain is made of nearly 60% fat. It needs the right kinds of fat to function, repair, and protect itself. Think of healthy fats not as a diet trend, but as daily brain medicine. Next up, we'll explore the final piece of the puzzle, filling your plate with antioxidant-rich foods that fight inflammation and oxidative damage from the inside out. Now that we've added healthy fats to fuel your brain, let's move to the final and equally powerful strategy, diet change number 3, eat more antioxidant-rich foods. Why antioxidants? Because every day your brain and blood vessels are under attack from free radicals, unstable molecules that cause damage to your cells, promote inflammation, and speed up the aging process. And guess what? That same oxidative stress is a major driver of stroke. That's where antioxidants come in. They neutralize free radicals before they can do serious harm. By eating more foods rich in natural antioxidants, you're giving your body the tools it needs to repair itself and stay resilient. Let's start with berries. Blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, these aren't just sweet treats, they're brain protectors. Blueberries in particular are loaded with anthocyanins, a powerful type of antioxidant shown to improve memory, protect blood vessel walls, and reduce blood pressure. One long-term study found that people who ate at least 2 servings of berries per week had significantly slower rates of cognitive decline and a reduced risk of stroke. Next, consider leafy greens like spinach, kale, and Swiss chard. They're packed with vitamin C, beta-carotene, and lutein, all known to protect your brain from inflammation and oxidative damage. Leafy greens also support healthy nitric oxide levels, which helps relax and widen blood vessels for better blood flow. Then we have dark chocolate. Yes, you read that right. A small amount of dark chocolate, at least 70% cocoa, provides flavonoids that improve circulation and support heart health. Just 1 or 2 small squares a day can be a delicious and stroke-smart habit. Just be sure to skip anything with added sugar or milk fats. Green tea is another excellent source of antioxidants, particularly EGCG epigallocatechin galat, which has been linked to improved blood vessel flexibility and lower inflammation. Drinking 1 to 2 cups of green tea daily can lower your stroke risk by improving endothelial function, the thin lining of your arteries that keeps blood flowing smoothly. Want a savory option? Add tomatoes to your daily meals. They contain lycopene, which helps reduce LDL oxidation, a process that contributes to plaque buildup in arteries. Cooked tomatoes like in tomato sauce or soup actually make the lycopene even more bioavailable. Now let me share a story with you. One of my patients, Leonard, age 66, had already made changes to reduce salt and added more healthy fats. But he still felt tired and his blood pressure was hovering on the edge. We looked at his meals. They were low in color and variety. I challenged him to add a rainbow of plants to every plate: blueberries at breakfast, spinach in his smoothie, a salad with tomatoes at lunch, and some green tea in the afternoon. Within 3 months, his energy rebounded, his blood pressure normalized, and his doctor reduced his medication. The power of antioxidants was undeniable. Here's how you can start today. Add ½ cup of berries to your breakfast, fresh or frozen. Include a serving of leafy greens with lunch or dinner. Drink green tea instead of soda or sugary coffee drinks. Use tomato sauce or diced tomatoes in soup, stews, or pasta dishes. Enjoy a square of dark chocolate as an afternoon treat. Remember, color is a sign of protection. The more colorful plant-based foods you eat, the more antioxidants you're giving your body, and the more resilient your brain and arteries become. In the next section, we'll tie it all together and explain why your daily diet plays one of the most important roles in stroke prevention. Now that you've seen how specific diet changes can transform your stroke risk, it's time to understand the bigger picture, why diet plays such a central role in preventing stroke. The truth is, what you eat directly affects every factor that contributes to stroke: your blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol levels, inflammation, and even the strength of your blood vessels. A poor diet, especially one high in processed foods, unhealthy fats, and added sugars, can silently damage your arteries over time. It thickens the blood, increases plaque buildup, and creates the perfect storm for a clot to form. On the other hand, a diet rich in whole, natural, nutrient-dense foods can do the exact opposite. It keeps your blood flowing smoothly, reduces oxidative stress, and protects your brain from long-term decline. In other words, your plate is either fighting stroke or feeding it. And the best part, every meal is a new opportunity to choose foods that protect your brain. Now let's wrap it all up with my final advice and what I tell every patient who walks into my office. If there's one thing I want you to take away from today, it's this: your daily food choices are powerful medicine. The right diet doesn't just lower your stroke risk, it gives your brain the fuel it needs to stay sharp, strong, and protected for years to come. As a doctor with over 30 years of experience treating stroke patients, I've seen it time and again. Small changes lead to massive results. Start by removing the ultra-processed junk. Add in those healthy fats and antioxidant-rich foods. Your brain and heart will thank you. Now I'd love to hear from you. Which of these diet changes will you start with today? If this video helped you, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more stroke prevention advice. And remember, the best time to protect your brain is before something happens. Start now. Stay consistent. Stay safe.